Hey everybody, it's Cliff Yates. Welcome to the Cliff Yates Show podcast. And we're doing a podcast today, but I'm also live on YouTube. So if later you're listening on a podcast platform, please go on over to YouTube, support the channel, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Why? Because it's not going to affect me monetarily, but I'm always wanting to expand my reach, positively impacting other people, and we want to always expand our reach. I want you to expand your reach. We start with ourselves, right? Hopefully we have a big effect on ourselves, and then hopefully we affect our family, spouse, people close to us, around us, people we work with, and then keep going, keep moving out. Maybe your neighbors, maybe the community. Always want to expand our reach, and so if you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. That will help. And so I want to talk about Tony Robbins today because I'm reminded he's actually doing 3 days of a Time to Rise Summit. Go to YouTube. You can check it out. He's giving this away for free. Of course, he's going to upsell you because he wants to get paid for the value of the content that he puts out there. And you can take that as an example. But I want to really spread his message, and I want to push you over to him, to his content. Why? Because look what he's really relevant right now today. As you saw by the thumbnail, he gave over, people will say, the negative people, oh, he just wants your money. He just wants your, what's he doing with that money? He just gave $4.5 million to Los Angeles for victims of the fires. Right? He gave over $400,000 to the LA Fire Department for a new communication system. He gave money to the Dream Center to help house people who have been burned out of their homes. They don't have a place to stay. He has given to one of his favorite charities, which is Feed America, to provide meals. So he's interested in helping people with housing, food. Also, the first responders. He is a backer of the blue, a backer of police. And in this case, he is giving his money, great numbers, to the fire department. Why? Does he live there? No. He was born in California. He lived in California. When I was out there in California, he's the real deal. How is he the real deal? Well, I've been following Tony Robbins for over 34 years. First went to a seminar 34 years ago, 1991-ish. Right, and before that, I had gone to a Jim Rohn seminar, found out that he was promoting Tony Robbins. I ended up going to a Tony Robbins event, a live event. And from there, I took his tape program. And from there, I changed. I was at a point where in my life where I did not like my attitude. I changed it. I didn't like the way I was feeling at work. I changed it. I didn't like the way I was experiencing life at that time. I changed it. And I got such great results. I got excited to spread that. People around me were affected by how I was changed. And I had a positive impact on those people, which really, really fed me. That was like getting $1 million. Starting with my wife. And she saw the changes in me. Oh, I'm a poet and don't know it. She saw the changes in me, and she says, I want to take that 30-day program. So she got the cassette tapes at the time. And before that, I had a friend, Tom Vasile, who you may have known, who was a fellow law enforcement officer. He came to visit me in California at the time, and so he went through the 30-day tape program because he was experiencing life in a negative way at that time. He made the changes, and now look what he's gone on to do. Gone on to become a chaplain to the Rochester, New York Police Department, become a chaplain to the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, and become a pastor to his local church in Rochester, New York, to survive and give testimony to getting a heart transplant. So never underestimate the power of your influence. You can be an influence. You can be example and inspiration for what to do, or you can be an example of what not to do. Make that choice. And so that's why I'm saying check Tony out. He's giving free Time to Rise Summit, I believe, is the free YouTube content that he's putting out right now. Of course, he's going to try to upsell you, but he's going to give you free content that you could take action on today. And you are one thought in action from having a tremendous transformation in your own life. And so forgive me as I talk about Tony Robbins today. He's given this great amount of money to the LA Fire Department and to people in an effort to support in housing and food. And he was brought up in California. And I know, you hold things up. The Bible says, hold everything up to the light. Is this really true? Is it authentic? Is it a legit deal? Is this something that I should be taking note of? Is this content that I should be taking action on? And, I did that with Tony Robbins, right? I read his books, right? 1991, I'm reading a book he put out in 1986, which was Unlimited Power. And UPW were the 2 weekends that I went. First in 1991, then 2019, I went again with my wife. First time I went, Anaheim, California, 2,000 people. Thought it was a lot. 2019, went with my wife. LA Convention Center, over 15,000 people. Another Tony Robbins book, Unshakable. I don't think it's his best, but I did enjoy it. It's about economics, investing. He wrote that in 2017. But Tony Robbins. So I went to the seminars, read the books, and then I met him at the Universal City Walk where I was working as a deputy sheriff. He was with his son, Tony. He stopped. I introduced myself, handshake to the 6'7" giant, and we had a short but nice, authentic conversation. He introduced me to his son. Working for the LA County Sheriff's Department, I worked alongside a deputy in San Dimas, California. Mr. Jeff Smith was the deputy I worked with, and Jeff went to high school in Glendora, California. And Jeff was talking with me one day. Oh, you went to Tony Robbins? He goes, Tony Robbins was in my class, my high school class at Glendora High. You're kidding me. What was he like? Well, in high school, I don't remember too much about him. He didn't make a big impact as I remember. But at the 20-year reunion, he did come back by limousine, bigger than life. And he was just gracious as ever to the class and talked with everybody. Really positive, really invigorating. His enthusiasm, positivity was contagious to the class. And it was just great to see him at 20 years later after being in high school with him, not noticing too much. And so he did grow up in Glendora, California, and his story is real. It is true. Check it out. As a young kid, he had an abusive mother. Father went through some tough times. He tells the story. You can check it out. And it was Thanksgiving time, knock at the door. And someone said, Tony answered the door. What can I do for you? Is your father home? Yes, he is. Brought Tony's father, to the door. The man said, I'm just delivering food. Someone knows you're going through a tough time. It's Thanksgiving. It's a time to enjoy and enjoy the harvest. And if you can't have it for yourself, here, someone wanted to give this to you. Tony's dad tried to slam the door in the man's face. The man kind of had his foot in the door. Door flew open. He said, hey, listen, I'm just a messenger here. I'm just delivering. I'm not the one. Someone else. If anything, he pointed to Tony, think of your kids. He eventually did take the food, but slammed the door. And his dad had decided to leave after that point. But Tony took that message that if a stranger cared enough to bring food to his family at a time when they really needed it, then he can care enough to try to contact and feed strangers. And from that, he went on a mission, first to serve several families. Then the next year, he tried to increase his reach. And now he's fed over 1 billion people. And he's continuing on with his mission. And an example is what he just did recently, giving money to LA Fire and the people in need burned out of their homes. Although he's living in Florida now, he reached back to be a positive influence on other people. And I'm so blessed that I had a wonderful message. I had several messages today that I got that were positive. and I'm so grateful for. I have an attitude of gratitude, everybody, that I got some positive messages from family. My wife sent me a beautiful positive message. And so I had an effect on her with the Tony Robbins program. And Tony, who has a Netflix special, says, I'm not your guru, because he says, listen, I read these books. I've tried these things. I got these results. Maybe you could have the same results. Not because of me. This is the book I read written by somebody else. That's what I loved about his content. He wasn't saying, it's all about me, you should follow me. No, he's saying, I've been obsessed with seeing why was this person successful when the brother wasn't. Why did this person who was brought up in obscurity made these changes of thoughts and actions and had these great results when this person who was born of affluence and they failed and they had these things happen to them. He became obsessed with knowing why and how people got certain results, and he's spent his career doing that. He is the real deal. Check him out. I get nothing from it. I'm just saying I do get the equivalent of millions of dollars emotionally by having a positive influence on other people. That's the message of today. So my wife, seeing how I changed, then she changed. Of course, she was already a wonderful, God-loving person, and then she just became more. She became more. She said, I want to learn what you learned. Maybe I can have similar results. And so my wife did that. Tom Vasile, I had an influence on him, and that fed me emotionally, spiritually. And so my cousin April, she is so wonderful. I hope she's watching and or listening to this playback. I'll tell her to do, because now her name is being mentioned. She said, I saw what you did with Tony Robbins, so I read the book. I took the classes. She went to a Tony Robbins live event. It would be over 30 years ago now. On stage. She was brought up on stage. On stage. She quit smoking. She threw her cigarettes into the crowd. She saw other people do that, and she wanted to do that. It had a big impact. She has never smoked again in her life. She's gone on to have several successful businesses. Here she is, upstate New York. My cousin April Yates, she owned 2 Curves, helping women in health and strength. She has her own hair styling business, very successful. Now she has her daughter learning the ropes. She is passing that on. And to this day, she still not only follows me, but follows Tony Robbins. And she's always employing what she learned at that live seminar. And she's always open-minded to new thoughts, to beliefs. Let me try this. We can always be learning. God has implanted in us that we can always be learning. I took some notes from Tony just the other day because he talked about seasons of life and how important it is. And he gave a great example, right? This is the worst time in history. Look at these politics. And the people that believe that, he said they have not studied history, because if they look back, you can see a worse time. You can see some terrible times. You can see when people were celebrating, right, in the old flapper days, the roaring 20s, and then came the Great Depression. They didn't see it coming. But if you look at history, there are patterns. If you can learn to recognize patterns, if you can learn to recognize seasons of life, you can take actions in anticipation. Because you know, although it feels like when we're in winter, when we're in a bad time, it feels like it's going to last forever. When it is fall and we are harvesting, we are reaping the benefits of what we'd sowed long ago. We think this is going to last forever. But since we study history, we know that following this winter, spring is coming. Spring is coming. Summer, the heat of the summer is coming. Can we get through the heat of the summer? Absolutely. Why? Because we know fall is coming, followed by winter. The seasons never change. If we learn to act within nature, we can use it to our benefit and to the benefit of all those around us, right? We can do the right thing at the wrong time, and we can have negative results, maybe even disastrous results. The founding fathers, the Puritans who came to this country, founded the United States of America, they came. Now, what if they hadn't gotten mentorship from Indians who told them, listen, you just lost everybody this past winter. They died because of lack of food, starvation. We are going to teach you to plant. If you plant in the winter, you will have no results. You will starve to death and you will die. We're going to teach you. Plant in the spring. Timing. Do the right thing. Winter, no good. Planting. Time to plant is in the spring. Why? Because in the fall, you're going to reap a harvest. Nature is built that way. It tells us, it shows us these patterns of life if we will look at them and see them. So recognize patterns. As a matter of fact, Tony talked about this yesterday. If you want to have a great success in your life, recognize patterns. If you will recognize patterns, then you won't have anything to fear. You won't fear. You'll be of great courage, as the Bible says. You will not just survive, you will thrive during coming changes because you recognize patterns. Number 2, use pattern utilization. You know the patterns that are coming, summer, winter, fall. You recognize the patterns. Now you utilize those patterns to your benefit. You know the pattern. You plant in spring. You know it's hot in summer. You get through summer because you know in the fall you're going to reap the harvest of your planting in the spring. And then, number 3, pattern creation. Like someone who learns to play piano. They study, they become immersed, they learn the notes, they practice other people's music. Eventually, they become creators. At first, they're copying the patterns of other people. You learn piano, you're playing other people's songs. Eventually, you know now, and now you are free to create your own music. So recognizing patterns, then we use the patterns to our own benefit, and then we become pattern creators. Powerful stuff if you will just take it and use it. Recognize patterns. I took some notes. Recognize the seasons, right? So we have to learn how to plant, when to do it, and then we can reap the harvest. I talked in a previous episode about sowing and reaping. Keep sowing, because some of that seed will be taken up by the birds. A biblical lesson. A biblical lesson. Some of those seeds will be taken up by the birds, right? Keep sowing. Some of that seed will not fall on healthy ground. It's going to be blown by the wind. It won't take root. Keep planting. Don't chase the birds. Don't go to another field. Stay planted where you are and sowing, because some of that seed will fall on healthy soil. Your seeds will take root. And you won't just get an ear of corn for the kernel of corn. You're going to get a stalk of corn with many ears on it. You're going to plant and you're going to reap 10, 30, 60, 100 times. Keep planting those positive messages to other people. It's going to have an immense effect on you, your psyche, your emotions. And this is the message. Check out Tony Robbins, everybody. That's the message I'm trying to send to you. Keep spreading joy regardless of what you're getting in return. Start doing the right thing regardless of the effects you may not see right away. Take examples from nature and other people and other professions like a stone cutter. Because a stone cutter, he's chiseling away. A stone cutter is chiseling away. Although there is no physical or visual evidence that he is having any effect. But because of his knowledge, his experience with patterns, he keeps chiseling because he knows eventually he's one hit away from the stone breaking away and revealing something wondrous. The stone cutter knows each hit of the hammer does have an effect, even though you don't see it. Keep planting seeds. Keep spreading joy It is the gift that you give other people, even if they reject it. And you learn this lesson. When people come to you with a gift of negativity, anger, trying to drag you down, trying to drag you off the path of righteousness into negativity, you can learn to refuse to accept that gift. What happens when someone brings you a gift and you refuse to accept it? Who owns that gift? They own it. So refuse to accept a gift of negativity. It is unbelievable how much power you are going to have. Our quality of life is the quality of our emotions. This is the last powerful message I'm going to leave with you today. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, because it tells people that you're interacting with the show. It tells the algorithms of YouTube, hey, even if you leave a hateful comment, do you know the haters really help the show? They really help my channel. Why? Because they take the time to listen and they're trolling. They can't wait to say something negative, right? Hateful, anger, and they leave a negative comment. Because many people, 95% of the positive people that are following my channel, they don't take the time to leave a comment. Not that they aren't appreciating the comments or the content, but they tell me later, but they don't take the time to leave a comment. So some of the haters and the trolls, they take the time to leave a negative comment. And that tells the algorithm of the channel, hey, people are interacting with your channel, with your video. We need to show this to more people who like this kind of content. So if you can, please subscribe. We are growing leaps and bounds. But listen, that's not the intent. That's not my purpose here today. My purpose is to spread positivity and the messages, because I tell you what, and I had the message from my wife today. I had a message from someone on Facebook, and I had another message from someone out of the blue. I didn't even know we were connected on Facebook. This young man, because I viewed his profile, said, hey, I really enjoy your book. I've reread it several times. I'm currently in the National Guard. I'm in the process of joining the Ventura County Sheriff's Department. So I want to thank you for your content, because it's really inspired me. What? Believe me, I'm still walking on air. And so that's the final message, is sometimes our emotions affect our actions. How we're feeling affects what we do. Flip it around. Flip it around. Let's have our actions affect our emotions. Flip it around. Change your state. Wasn't that long ago, wasn't that many hours ago, that I was in a negative state of mind, a very sad state of mind, because I can tend to be oversensitive and emotional. I will cry at a commercial, but through tools given to me by Tony, I've learned to decide how and when to change my state. We can't always. It would be exhausting if we walked around smiling. You ever walked around, I have, smiling so much your face hurts? You can't be smiling all the time. We can't be in a constant state of joy. It would be exhausting. We need time of quietness. We need time of reflection. Maybe even times of sadness or contemplation. But we don't have to sit there for very long. We can really take charge of our states. If you can change your state at will, you can't imagine what's possible for you. You know the drill. You know how to change your state. It's easy. First, physiology. Change how you're holding your body. Change how you're moving. Maybe you've taken a little neuroassociative conditioning. You've taken some power, inspiring music, and you've married it to emotion. You've married it to an act that you take. And so now you want to change your state. You're going somewhere, you have an appointment, you have an interview. Hey, I need to be in a powerful state at this time, right now, on this day, at this hour. Can I control that? Yes. How am I going to do it? Physiology. I'm going to make that move. Make my move. Now I'm already changing. Change my focus. I'm focusing. I've done everything I need to do for this interview to get to where I am today. I have great value that I'm going to offer here. I'm confident in what I know and what I can do. It's going to come out in my voice, my actions, and I'm going to be able to communicate that to my interviewer. Wow. Powerful. Change your physiology. Change your focus. Change what you're saying to yourself. What is your self-talk? What is that thing in your head, that voice in your head saying, hey, I've done everything I can do up to this point to prepare for this interview, and I know who I am and whose I am, and that will be reflected in what I say and how I perform in this interview. It's easy, everybody, because you know what you can do? You can practice it every day in every way. Hey, I hope this added some value to you today. I hope some of these ideas, maybe thoughts have come to you. Maybe I'll check out this Tony Robbins guy. Maybe I can get some benefit from it. Maybe I can be positively influenced to take some kind of actions and thoughts that are going to change me for the better. Transformational change is possible to you. Yes, I get excited about it. And selfishly, I talk about these things because I get to hear them all over again. I get that voice in my head. I'm saying it to you, but I'm hearing it again myself. Reinforces it to me, and we have to keep doing it on a daily basis. When? Forever. Why? Because it's like tuning the piano. Sounds beautiful. It's perfect. But if you wait too long, it'll get out of tune. Don't wait too long. Keep in tune. Keep going. I'm so grateful because I'm alive today to spread this message to you. All right, everybody. That's this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you know of anybody who might benefit from the message, share it with them. Leave a comment, positive or negative. You're helping either way. All right, everybody. I'm Cliff Yates. You know I love you. I'll see you in the next episode.